Chapter 5 Summer Days. The very summer days on a farm are happiness and fearlessness the last of the year. Lilacs bloom and make it air sweet, and the fate apple blossoms come into the lilacs, and bees visit around among the apple trees. The days grow warm and soft. School ends when children have time to play and fish to root onto the brooks. Avery often brought a town home in his pocket, warm and stiff, and ready to be friends for the supper. Now that is school over, Fern visits the barn almost every day. To sit quietly on her stool, the animals treated her as the equal. The sheep lay calmly on her feet, hitched and mowing machines. And Mr. Zuckerman climbed into a street or drove into a field. All morning you can hear the rattle onto the machines as it went around and around, while the tall grass fell down behind the cutter bar of the long green swaths. Next day, if there was no thunder shower, all hands would be helped rake and pitch and road, and then hay would be held to be borne in the high hay wagon, with Fern and Avery riding into the top of the road. Then the hay would be hoisted, sweet and warm, into a big loft, until the whole barn seemed like the wonderfully bed of mostly the clover. It was fine to jump in, and perfect to hide in. And sometimes Avery could find a little grass next the hay, and would add it to the other things to his pocket. Early summer days are a jolly times for the bird. In fields around the house, in the barn, in the woods, in the swamp, everywhere love the songs, and it is the egg. From the egg from the wood, edge of the woods, the right-throated sparrow, which must call all the way from the Boston, calls, "Oh, Peabody, Peabody, Peabody." On the apple broth of P.B.'s theaters will wag the tail and said, "Peabaw, Peabaw, P.B." The song sparrow, who knows of the beef and lovely lives, is said, "Sweet, sweet, sweet interlude, sweet, sweet, sweet interlude." If you enter the barn of swallows, swoop down into their nests, scold, "Chicky, chicky, chicky," they said. The apples in summer are planted all of the things for a child to eat, drink, and suck and chew. The denless lion seemed full of milk, clover head, and loaded with nectar. Of the fridge full of ice-cold drinks, everywhere you love in life, with a little bar of speed of the wheat stalk. If you poked in a pot with a green worm inside it, and on the underside of the leaf of the potato vine are bright orange eggs and potato bug. It was on a day of early summer when the goose egg hatched. It was apported even the barn cellar. Fern was there, sitting on the stool, and when it happened. It sat for goose herself. Charlotte was the first to know what the goslings had to last arrive. The goose knew it a day of advance what they were coming, and she heard their weak voice called inside from inside the egg. She knew what there were desperately complete positions inside the shell, and was almost anxious to break through to get out. So she sat quite still and talked less than usual. When the first goslings poked their gray-green head through the goose's feathers and looked around, Charlotte spied it and made an announcement. "I'm sure," she said, "that everybody one of unusual will be great fun to learn after 4 weeks of undermining efforted patience on the part of our friend Goose. She knew had something to show for it. The goslings had arrived. May I offer the sincere congratulations?" Thank you, said the goose, nodding the bowing shameless. "Thank you," said the gander. Congratulations, shouted Wilbur. "How many goslings are here? I can see one more." "There are 7, said Goose. "Fine," said Charlotte. 7's a lucky number. "Lucky is nothing to do with this," said Goose. "It is going to imagination and hard work." At this point, Templeton showed his nose from his hiding place under Wilbur's trough and glared at Fern and crept cautiously toward the goose, kept closely to the wall. Everyone watched him, for he was not well liked, not trusted. "Look," he gasped into a sharp voice. You say have 7 goslings. There are 8 eggs. What happened to the other eggs? Why didn't it hatch?" "It is dead, I guess," said the goose. "What are you going to do with it?" continued Templeton, his little round, beery eyes fixed on the goose. "You can't have it," replied the goose, rolled it away and added the nasty collection of yours. Templeton has been happy on the packing of the usual object found onto the farm and strolling into his home. He's safely everything's. "Certainly, said the gander. "You may have the egg, but I tell you one thing, Templeton. If I ever catch you poking your ugly nose around our goslings, I'll give you the worst pounded the rat ever took." And Gander opened his strong wide wings and beat the air and with them to show his power. He was strong and brave, but the truth is, both of the goose and the gander were worried about Templeton, and with good reasons. The rat had been no morals, no concessions, no scruples, no considerations, no destiny, no milk of ordinary kindness, no compulsions, no higher feeling, no friendly, no anything. He would kill the goslings if he had got away with it. The goslings knew that. The goose knew that. Everybody knew that. Well, her board built by goose, her pushed it unhatched egg out of the nest, but the entire company was in disgust while the rat folded away. Even Wilbur, who had eaten almost anything, was opposite. "Imagine something the drunk old rotten egg," he muttered. "A rat is a rat," said Charlotte. She laughed a tinkling little laugh. But my friend said his anxious egg ever breaks, the barn is very uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? What did you mean? Asked Wilbur. It means nobody would be able to live here on account of the smell. Rotten egg is a regular stink bomb. I wouldn't break it, snarled Templeton. I know what I'm doing. I hold stuff at this all the time. He disappeared into his journal, pushing the goose egg in front of him. He pushed and nudged into his success that rolled into the layer under the trough. The afternoon, when the wind had died down and the barn was quietly and warm, the gray goose led her 7 goslings up the nest and onto the wood. Mr. Zuckerman spied them onto it, and when he came on to Wilbur's supper. Well, hello there, he said, smiling all over. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Say 7 baby geese. Now, isn't that lovely?